How are you? It is Pam Turner, and I am starting to go live. And again, I'm sending out some invites. I had to, that one I accidentally got disconnected from. So let me again continue to send out some invites here. All I'm doing is some of my students who've asked me to make sure they get included, I'm sending out some invites. So give me just a second, and I will get started here. Again, if it's your first time tuning in, I am Pam Turner, and I am the social work instructor at GNTC, and I go live usually every Monday, but today is Thursday. I was having some technical difficulties on Monday, so I am going live today. But you're always welcome to join us. This is a place where I talk about issues that are specifically in the class. I may teach a lesson, talk about some wonderful things just going on. But again, I'm sending out some invites. Okay. So I think I am done with my invites. Okay. So hi, I sent out some invites, and if you are just joining us, it's great. I'm going to start talking, and as people join us, you're more than welcome to ask a question at the bottom. What I normally do is I will give the lecture or the motivational speech or whatever is going on that day, and then I will open it up for questions, and as you're going along, I'll try to say hi to you if I can. If not, we will make sure that we get you invited in for next time. But really, again, feel free to type in any comments or questions that you may have at the bottom. I'm going to start off today with a conversation. First of all, again, I am Pam Turner, and I am the social worker instructor at GNTC. If you're in any of my online classes, you may have not ever met me. And if you're one of my new students, you may not have met me either. So I just want to say hello. Hi. I really enjoy being a social worker and a social work instructor, so I use this time to share. This week in class, we had an assignment due, and as often as many of you know that are in my classes, when their assignments due, oftentimes my attendance goes way down. You know what? I think if you don't show up, it just won't matter. I will tell you, you have to stop procrastinating, and you have to make school a priority. And I was talking to my students yesterday, and I do realize that this is not always easy. I really do. I understand that you have a life and you have a million other things that you have to do. Hey, I'm Kelly and Katie and Stephanie. It's nice to see you. I understand. I really do. I'm in the same boat. I am a single mom, and I have kids, and I have a job, and I'm in school, and I understand. So I'm not going to pretend like I don't understand. But when we have a major assignment due, starting 24 hours before the assignment may not be the best choice. Just going to put that out there. And it really is hard to prioritize, especially since most of my students are women, and we as women are very good about caregiving, like put everybody else's needs first. And even my students that are my male students, many of you are caregivers. You're in this profession because you like being caregivers, and the problem is that we don't put our needs first. And then it is, 5 o'clock the next day before the paper's due, and you haven't done anything. And your grade reflects that. So let's talk just a little bit about making sure that school is a priority. So what I'll tell you is it just has to be that important. And for what I said in class yesterday, I had to reprioritize my life. In my own life, God comes first, family, and then school. And everything else is kind of somewhere in between. So I'm not going to neglect my daughter's needs for school, but definitely some other things have to change. I can't be everything to everybody. And for those of you know that I am in a PhD program, and like you guys, I want this really bad. I know all of you want your degree really bad, and you want to finish this really bad, and I'm in the same boat. I want it really, really bad. So something has to give. And right now, sleep is giving up. I don't get a whole lot of sleep, that's for sure. But you've got to learn to prioritize. School is that important. And especially those as moms, we want our children to see that school is that important. Those of us that are parents. So if that means, I can't watch cartoons with you as much as I used to, and I might not be able to stay as long as I do at every soccer game. And sometimes I actually, I'm doing homework during the volleyball game and practice, but I really have to do this. And it's only for a short period of time. It is not for a very long time. And certainly I do not mind making that commitment. And for my daughter, she's not always very happy with me. I had the other night that she was very sure that my PhD program was not important at all, and her 8th grade homework was more important because my PhD was my choice. And while she was very right, I still need to finish school. So we had a discussion, and I'm going to finish school. So a couple of things about school making a priority. I want to teach you a couple of things that are coming up. So if you are in my intro class, if you are in my human behavior class, if you have been or you will be, let me talk to you about ecomaps. There are 2 things that we've learned about in class, and one is an ecomap. I'll put it really close so you can see. And an ecomap, that is the current assignment that you have on the class. An ecomap, and for you guys, I'm sure you're seeing it backwards. I will put it on the screen. I will put it on the Facebook page. An ecomap is you in the middle with the things surrounding you that may cause you stress. So you see the lines, there's this more solid a line, the better the relationship. So if you have a very solid line, it's a very good relationship. If you have some dots, that's a tenuous. That means it's sometimes great, sometimes not. When it's stressful, you see your zigzags and your arrows, where the energy flows, and the line thickness is the intensity. So in this assignment for the human behavior class and for other classes, you'll have to create an ecomap. Ecomaps are really good about being able to see who you are and what are the stressors in your life. So when you do your ecomap, you can do the assignment from a human behavior class is to put just yourself in the middle, not your family. So you put yourself in the middle. If you're working with clients, you put your client in the middle. And then you would draw all the things surrounding them that are in their lives. So for you, example, in your life, it would be school and work and children and church and friends and siblings and cousins and neighbors. Any of those things that are in your life, you put the circles, you're the big circle, you put the smaller circles around you, and then you draw a line to the relationship. So for example, my line to my job would be a very strong line because I love my job and I like it a whole lot. And the arrow would be going both ways. The arrow goes to me because I get a lot from my job, and it goes this way because I give a lot to my job. However, there are relationships where they are tenuous and the arrow is me giving out, and sometimes there are stressful relationships. So sometimes with my homework, and homework for me is I've done those big circles, the line is dotted, it's stressful, and then there's an arrow on the end. So when I do my ecomap, it looks with me, then I am in the middle. So my wonderful drawings here. I am in the middle. And the arrows are going to be very dotted because school for me is stressful. And the arrow is from me to school. It drains energy from me. The reason that you do an ecomap is it's easy for you with your clients to see what their immediate stressors are. If you haven't done this in the human behavior class, you'll have it in another class, and you'll actually use it in your practice, and you may see it while you're in your field. So an ecomap, again, it's one person or a family, and it is the stressors. Oops, upside down. It is the stressors that are more the solid lines. The positive lines definitely are darker, tenuous. The arrows were with the energy flows, and the line thickness is the intensity. So if you can look at this is the family, and you can see that their line is very thick to church. And for some of the members, church is a very positive, good line. It gives them a lot. But for some of the members, it is very stressful, but still a pretty thick line. And you will see other things. School. So for one member, school is a very stressful event. For one member, it is not. And again, your assignment would be just for your line, but this is great to use with families. You'll see these in a mini charts if you're in your field. Again, that's the ecomap. And the ecomap is a simple, very easy assessment. There's actually a link on the page for the homework assignment. It's a visual assessment. You open the folder and you can easily see who is causing stress in your life and who is causing stress in the family. So it's a really good, easy tool to use. You'll love ecomaps. And again, human behavior is in that class. It's an assignment that's due the 31st. It is also just a really good social worker tool. If you have not been exposed to it yet in many of my classes, you will be, and you may see it in the field. So just know what an ecomap is. Now, the difference between an ecomap and a genogram And genogram, I know that you've done. If you've been in my classes, if not, you will. A genogram is generational. So a genogram looks at, these are the symbols for a genogram. Okay, everything has a symbol. So it's male and female. And then you're looking at the carrier, the people who have diabetes, the people who have Alzheimer's, depression, etc. The squares are always the men, and the circles are always the women. And that is how we look at our family genogram. We do genograms, so especially when we look at family history. So, for example, your doctor may have done one if you have some issues with breast cancer or any kind of like diabetes or related issues, because we're looking for that generational pattern. In our substance abuse class, we didn't do it this semester, but we've done it in past semesters, and we will do it in the future. You're looking at the history of addiction in your family. So genograms start with 3 generations back mostly, and then look at your grandfather, your grandmother on both sides. And the goal is to get as much information as you can and then actually put it on paper. And for those of you who have done it already, you know that it is a very surprisingly difficult and sensitive task. When you know all your family stuff, it's different than when you actually write it down and you see how far the generations go back. So especially when we are looking at substance abuse, and we take the whole theme of addiction. So we look at addictions, whether it is a porn or a gambling or a drug or alcohol. We look at addictions and we look at those patterns in families, and we definitely see the lineage. As we were discussing in class yesterday, it could be that nature versus nurture. We're not really sure sometimes, but there are definitely some studies that look at that genetic piece. In our alcohol and drug treatment, in our groups class, we're talking about that genetic piece that talks about fathers and sons, especially the strong research that looks at that. But when you actually have to put down on paper and look at the generational issues that have been going on, it is very scary. And some of the things that we look at are not only those patterns of drug and alcohol, but patterns of incest or divorce and remarriage. And to look at those papers, it is a lot difficult. Hi, I'm saying hi to people that have joined me. I see Kelly, I see Katie, I see Stephanie, Grace. How are you, Grace? And Cassie. Hi, guys. How are you? I know you're waving back at me, because, right? If you're waving back at me, hit your like button so I know that you're out there listening to me. So again, I have talked about genograms and I have talked about ecomaps. You will use them both in your field. Genograms are really good. Oh, I got a like there. Thank you for paying attention. Genograms are difficult. Like I said, they take more. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Genograms take more time. When I'm giving you the assignment of the genogram, it takes a time to go back and look at families and to kind of get that family tree and that who does what. There's Genogram, genpro.com. You can download that and actually use that temporarily for free. I think Grace is probably one of the students who did that and did really well on that one. Grace, I still can't figure out how to download that and use it, but that is a program out there that you can use for free. And a lot of people have used it for other things. It's like My Family Heritage and those kind of things. But when you use a genogram, especially in social work, it really is looking at family patterns and family patterns that continue to repeat. I see Mary Stennon has joined us. Hi, Mary. Mary, you're a college graduate. Mary is one of the students that I saw like in the very beginning and went through 4 years with me. Oh my gosh, poor Mary. And she still graduated. So proud of you. So proud of you, Mary. So anyway, the genogram, the ecomap, very different things. I'm just going to remind you what they look like. Ecomap is the current assignment for the human behavior class. If you have not had it, you will have it in the future. And ecomaps are just really, really cool tools. So for my students who are in the human behavior class online, this is your assignment. This is on the 31st. Genograms are the ones that use the symbols, and you'll look at generational patterns. The easiest way for me to remember is geno is generic. No, geno is your generations. Geno is people who further and further back. You're looking at those patterns, and especially when we're looking at patterns that you don't make sure that you don't want to repeat to your children. Those are things that you will find in using a genogram. So love both of those tools, and you will use them a lot in your practice. They're great, handy, quick, easy to illustrate, and for people who are definitely not. So I might upload an ecomap. Katie, I actually will upload it, and there's a wonderful YouTube video on that link, so you can actually see how to do it yourself, but I will definitely upload it. But they're really cool. And if you're in that class, the best way probably to do it is to scan it, upload it, or take a picture and upload it to the class. But that is an assignment for that one. And also, the whole assignment for that, Katie, is actually you have to post your ecomap And then you have to respond to 2 peers to see if you could understand their ecomap. So when you post your ecomap, don't give all the details, draw the lines, but don't tell us the relationships. And then the response to you, Katie, back to you, to your peers, is to then go back and let them know if they're right. So for example, it says, draw an ecomap of your own family. So then you would draw your ecomap, you would put it up there, and then your 2 peers would have to guess, not guess, they would have to write what those relationships are like based on what the line says. So they would say, oh, it looks like she has a good relationship with this person or a bad relationship with this person. And the energy is flowing very good. And then you would respond to that peer saying, yes, you are correct, or no, you are not correct, making sure that your peer can actually read your ecomap. So they should be able to narrate your life based on your ecomap. Ecomaps are also changing. So what you find is, while a relationship may be really good and when you first see your client, 6 months later that relationship may change. In 10-year relationships, that's what they mean. Is they're sometimes good and sometimes bad. And certainly with your work, sometimes things are really good and sometimes things aren't so good. So you're going to draw that tenuous line. Between the ecomap and the genogram, the thing that you always need to remember is that the thicker the line, the better relationship. So if I have a good relationship with anybody, that line is really, really thick. You know we're good. My children, we're good. We're good. However, their dotted line, the more dots you'll see. In the genogram, there's a whole lot more the symbols, and you will see that some of those symbols can be like broken relationships or divorced. In genograms, there are tools that talk about having a relationship that was abusive. The blue we use for abusive in genograms. So genograms are very much in color and talk about your family. They're just great, great tools in social work to really see how we look at the relationship with families. One of the things I like about ecomaps is, especially when I work with families who have people who are not really biologically related. You know, we have like, you know, play cousins and people who live with us but aren't really cousins, or you have children in families who have different dads. It's an easy way to kind of use the ecomap and relate to that. Because sometimes you'll have a family come in and the kid will tell you this week it's his dad. Next week he'll say somebody else is his dad. And you're like, excuse me? So it's easy to have those relationships right in front of you, because when you open the folder, you can have that right in front of you as a family. And it's easy to remember that, oh yeah, he has a stepdad, or maybe that's his baby, his brother's dad, but he calls him dad. Things like that they're very important to a family. And you want to make sure that you can use that right handy, right in front of you to use it. And again, this is done in the human behavior class. It is done in the families with case management class. And many times I also use the genogram in my addictions class, because again, it looks at the pattern of addictions. So those are really great, great tools that we're going to use. I'm going to wrap it up with a couple of things. I'm going to remind you that next week is registration for spring semester. And you know me, I'm not real sure why they call it spring, because it is cold. Do not like the cold weather. But yes, it is spring semester, and that is, it starts January, early January. So please, you may register yourself if you know how to register yourself. If you do not and you're in my class, then I will be registering in class. I will post directions on how to get into Banner. And if you would like to come and see me or schedule a time, please just shoot me an email and we will put you on the calendar, and you can either do a phone advisement section, or you can do a face-to-face advisement section. Oh, Kelly, talk about your last field. Kelly, the field meeting is, so if you are going to be in field in the spring, then that field meeting is, you have 2 choices. It is the 8th of November. The first time is, the morning time is at 11. That's right. Morning time is at 11. Yes, November 8th at 11. And then I think that's right. I'll check Facebook. Let me make sure. But I also am going to do a Skype. So if you have a Gmail, you can Skype in, and that will be at 7 o'clock. So I try to use the Skype for people who cannot come during the day, and so I don't have to work 24 hours a day. So I Skype you from my patio, and you get to have a conversation. We've been holding our night field classes through Google Hangout. So as long as you have a phone and Gmail, then we can do that. So that is the 8th. I'm pretty sure it is at 11 o'clock, Kelly, and the last one, the one is at 7 p.m. The 7 p.m. is the Google Hangout one. But I'll put that on Facebook again to get those dates to you for sure. So that's how you are going to register for your second and final field. Oh my gosh. Remember, your last field is the last thing that you do, and you have to complete it with all of those things. Also, reminder that Belhaven is coming out November 1st, because if you know me, I will hunt you down and make sure that you continue school. Your 2-year degree is amazing, but your 4-year degree will get you so much further. And you guys are amazing people. I have such the pleasure working with some of the smartest people that are the best, most compassionate social workers out there. So I'm so glad I got to be your teacher. I think that's about it. I'm going to just go over what I said earlier. You have to prioritize school. It is just that simple. And that means you might lose some friends. That means they may be on hold. You might not get to spend as much free time as you wanted to with your children, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. They can't repossess your education. Your life will change when you get an education and get a job. I promise you, it will change. If you have any idea the change, and think that Mary can say that, Mary, is your life not very, very different than before you first started school? To get a job where you get paid to actually put on nice clothes and take care of people, and people respect you, it is so worth it. So hang in there. Make school a priority. You're doing this not only for you, but for the generations to come. They see you doing your work. This is life-changing. Education truly changes your life. So it's about midterm. People get frustrated. Hang in there. I promise you, it is worth it. Okay, if you have any other questions, you feel free to message me in the message box. You can email me at pturner@gntc.edu, and I think the best way to reach me. And also, you can call me, 706-764-3863. I am Pam Turner. I am the Program Director for Georgia Northwestern and Social Work Department, and I have the very best job in the entire world. So I'm going to sign off now, guys. I will see you next Monday at 12. Again, I'll see you then. Bye.